Hello and welcome back to my playthrough of Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader. Last time you just spent a lot of, well basically the entire time, dealing with the first level of the, I can never get this thing's name right, the Electrodynamic Cenobatorium. That's not right. There we go. Oh! Electrodynamic Cenobium. I was close. Anyway, we spent a lot of time dealing with that. There was a massive amount of cultists that we just had to deal with. We got ambushed, we got electrocuted more than once, a lot of times actually. And Cassia did her best to demonstrate why she is ridiculously good at everything, frankly. Like, it is a level of incredibility. I think she wiped out half of them on her own, just by mind blasting them. So, very much a very good thing. That being said, we have some more space to explore. And while I do like this place, since it is very interesting, and I do hope to get out of Rykad Minoris shortly, just because it's been 6 missions now.
Rise to the top.
And it's actually been longer for me because I paused it to level up and whatnot. So, I want to see what else is out there. Is that the Archmagos? Oh no, that's Aurora. The face of the woman stands before you is hidden behind a grotesque bar of mask. Yet the voice pouring out beneath it belongs to someone else. Dumbass. The schematicals usually rather than the last specific member. Pascal's vox rasps from the arcade. I cannot comprehend why apostate treacherous self are compared to the sacred symbol of our faith. It is irrational. His visor lights up a crimson herald of bloodshed, and his drilling with the dead drag whirs viciously at the legacy strike. The sacred cob going to all corruption to dust. From the dust I will build. Mockery is fun. Time is over right now. I would take some time to rest from the details of the future that the cult prophesies. Hopefully when we're done, reflectively, we'll still be capable of doing this much. What shall be his living torch blazing for his glory? A gentle voice burned with pure hatred and trembled with impatience to make the promise come true. Oh god, that is such a perfect, violent Catholic line. It really is. Just like, the other line about tremble before his glory. No. Ah! Yellows, reds, violets, oranges, blues. Wild colors that scorch the eyes. Where the motley ends, masks end, nothing but a colorless void remains. I mean, I'm not particularly keen. Yeah, why did you want my head? Conrad, yeah. Ditto. Caprice, rip off their hands. Rip the hands off the command panels, rending their flesh on stakes that pierce them. That their schismatical controlled body will be with a motive force of radiance. All the unfortunates can do is scream hard and plead for swift death. All begins muttering and odor of broken mouth. powers to succeed. Cannot make out a blasphemous words, but the name the heretic keeps quick. The edge of daybreak digs into your ear like a blade into your temple flesh. It sounds almost physically painful. It spawns straight into your cosmic get to the eye. However you manage to muster your strength and banish it. Yay, willpower. And that's cute. That's really cute of you. But also, this is a cutscene that's not doing anything.
I'll make an example out of you!
The monsters demand your death!
Okay. Cultist Gunner. Okay, so what's going to happen is, Abelard, you're going to go here. Pascal, you're going to go here. Obviously, between the two of them, that should be enough. So Argenta, Pascal, just beat the snot out of these. We're at 24. Alright. Hynix, you're just gonna... Oh, you can't do anything. Okay, if you can't do anything to her anyway. You're gonna go over here. And Argenta's going to... No, Argenta's gonna go here. It's fine. It'll be fine. Honestly, the King Cassia should be able to do so much here. So, we're gonna start this battle. Good boy, you're going.
A mere pain won't stop me.
Good job shooting your own guy in the back. I do love it when you do that.
The enemies of the Emperor will be undone!
Then we're going to concentrated fire, so that this does so much more damage.
I refuse.
I did it again. You'll be fine.
Faith without deeds can escape the Emperor's judgment.
Round until the reactor explodes. How do I keep it from exploding necessarily? Probably kill the Electro Priest to stop feeding it. That makes sense. Oh, we did 3 damage to the cover.
Chaos guides me. Be my great word, bastard!
Hynix, you can come here. We're going to forewarning you. Give us. What can I charge? Yes. Give us a buff. Charge this prick.
Lord Captain.
And he'll be in a good spot for Ignatius to buff.
I'll make it happen. I'll see to it personally. Inquisition sends their regards.
And his turn. Still hold your turn. Not hold it, actually. Why not? Time for Cassia to be as ridiculous as we all know she can be. Seriously! It's dumb! Hey, Abelard. Take us away.
Victory is imminent.
You can do it. Or not. Jesus! That's so much! Give our objective.
In the name of how...
That worked.
As the Emperor commands, I act eradicated.
That also worked. I could have shot one more time, definitely. I thought it would trigger running gun to trigger. Kick his ass.
At your beck and call. One fewer target.
Oh, he could charge even without... Okay. That's actually fantastic. Did not know you could charge without a target. Probably could have tried that earlier, but still. So move you up here. Find a perfect spot for yourself. So why don't... What? Oh, good. Yeah, like, how did I lose that ability to kill him?
Running binary code right.
Got this.
One function successfully terminated.
Alright, that's one at least. Ooh.
High momentum.
No one even hurt. Never mind, that's not scary at all. just 2.
I'll do it.
Feel the need to use a rogue action for that. You missed? I didn't think you could miss, Argenta. How dare you?
Doubt is for the
Very
weak.
rude of you.
The Emperor is on our side.
We've got...
Let's see to it.
Take a shot. Why not?
Let's make some opportunities.
Buff. You. Dang. Nothing to do but doing it. Too fast, man. Nineteen to 42, 17 to 38.
I am a
Possible.
navigator, not a servitor.
Almost. Oh! Okay, so he's dead. That works.
It will be
He's
done.
dead anyway. Still.
Reduced to dust.
Let's see what's this. Just dash right past it, it's fine. And endure. You can take it that way. All AP and MP gain +4 MP until the end of the turn. In that case.
For von Beresis.
Good thing I checked.
My place is at the fore. Indeed.
Kick his ass, Abelard.
It will be done. One fewer turn. Reduced to dust.
Abelard, you're a lovely, lovely old man. Precise shot.
Quest to prove
Well done. I had faith in you. I knew you could do it. And by Avalon, I mean Pascal. Get 3, right? Plus 5. So we 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Give it a shot. Don't stand too close to whatever that is. And take a shot. That actually does us a favor.
High momentum.
Naturally.
I like how this is deeply corrupted space and it's barely registering as such. This is fine.
I've suffered worse.
And that allows Cassia to come back.
Out of my way!
Oh, I forgot he existed. Not a big deal.
My vow is to serve.
Is what it is, and it's all that it is. And he deserves fire. Or not. Let's try that again, Argenta.
Faith without deeds is worthless.
What the heck? Sincerely confused as to why that didn't work. Just significant luck, I suppose.
Tried and tested tactics are the best ones.
Death to the weak!
Thank you. Just a scratch, really.
Explorers know one route. Forward.
There we go. Oh, it teleported one back right. You are powerless to halt the approach movement. I see a crimson trail. Ah! It's a cave, it's not addictive. See the glow of the final dawn that means the distance and the rituals. I need you to. No, not gonna happen. What? She punched a nuclear reactor and got electrocuted, died? Who could have guessed? And she died like a dog, pathetic and petty. A minute, please, Ignatius. I need no more than a minute. Inspect that. The quadritator is probably well beyond repair, but your attention is drawn away from the sacred machine toward the dagger sticking out from the control. On a closer inspection, it turns out to be lavishly decorated handguard of a sword whose blade has been cried out. Its palm is decorated with a strange adornment resembling an eye covered by a scaled wing. The remains of the blade have a blue sheen to it. The same tint as chloride from weapon during the intervention. This is no human-made object. It's grown from a wraith bone, material favored by the Eldari. As you lean over the shard, you suddenly hear a multitude of voices. They blend together in individual words that distort, as though they're mocking your attempts to grasp their meaning. The nagging whisper is like the burning red scratch of an unruly claw upon your mind. Yeet! Yeah, if you touch the handguard, another word will come across your hand. Only for a mere instant. At the very next second, you see the corrupted weapon flying to the shining abyss. A terrible wail from seven deadly voices pierces your mind for a moment. To turn to a deafening shriek, you break off, and the cloud of electricity hurls settle beneath your feet. Dude, it's chaos! Wraithbone shenaniganery. I have a history of yeeting this. From this moment on, I am at your service. I am ready to come aboard your ship and head for Footfall as soon as you deem it possible. That is, if you do not have other business in the system, in which case I am prepared to assist you in its prompt resolution. Remove her mask. Iron helmet is firmly attached to Heretic's flesh. Your face is impossible to make out in the darkness beneath the borrowed little mask, but after peering at it for a little longer than necessary, you wonder if, for a moment, you saw something move. Yeah, let's just purge all these. Well, again, you can't come to our monastery, but you can totally go to the nuclear fusion reactor that is like the holy relic that this entire place is built around. It's fine. Ah, levels. Alright, I'm gonna clean this up real quick. Alright, I cleaned up the place, looted everything. There was a lot of just random armors and sniper rifles and las pistols, so somewhat obnoxious, but that being said, we should be able to get out of here.
I always have a backup plan.
Ah. Howdy. You okay? That should be everything. Right? That is everything. Like, I went around the entire place, no secret menus or maps. Did the quest. Return to the landing area. Okay, so some shenanigans are gonna be here.
Is there money to be made?
Okay, I'm gonna return to the void ship then. I guess. Come on. I would sincerely rather just like it be 18, 26, whatnot, than stop at 97. Ooh.
Rogue Trader. I was somewhat brusque at our first meeting, and I would like to make up for it by expressing my thanks for your assistance in the electrodynamic Cenobium. Your arrival could not have come at a better time. Unfortunately, my personal investigation has hit a dead end. I think I will have to call upon outside resources to continue the search.
I have something to confess. I discovered some kind of chaos artifact in the Cenobium's cogitator, and I deemed it necessary to dispose of it.
What? All right. All right. At the very least, the object of corruption, if that is indeed what it was, has been destroyed. This is a satisfactory outcome.
I would hope so.
There is one more thing. The Lord Inquisitor gave me this item some time ago. He must have thought it likely that I would find myself aboard this vessel sooner than he. I was instructed to deliver this device to Lady Theodora. However, given recent events, I believe I ought to present it to you. This is an elucidator, a sacred machine capable of translating the languages of remote and lost worlds into Low Gothic. It can even process Xenos languages to a certain degree. Not without infelicities, but possibly well.
Be honest, Von Kellogg's. Is this some kind of tracking device?
Certainly not. The elucidator is such a rare and complex creation of the Omnissiah that neither I nor any of my colleagues would dream of compromising its integrity. If you wish, have your tech priests confirm that there are no listening devices inside.
What do you think will become of the electrodynamic Cenobium?
It all depends on the electro priests who survived the attack. Fortunately for them, the cultists did not manage to seriously corrupt the holy site, partly thanks to the priesthood's efforts. Nevertheless, I would not be surprised if the local explorator fleet decides to audit and purge the damaged units once it hears about what has happened.
What do you plan to do now?
I would like to offer my assistance in resolving your immediate problems. I am aware that the ship suffered considerable losses during the recent mutiny and was damaged by the cultists' actions, and you have lost many valuable officers as well. You are in a difficult situation. I am at your disposal.
I must return to my duties. Heinrich is about to say something else when he's interrupted by the sound of a Vox signal. Someone is trying to contact you.
Thank you for your time. Please consider me at your complete disposal while I am aboard your vessel.
Aw, he's not going to say anything? Congratulations on the victory, your lordship. The entire vessel was impatiently awaiting the news of your expedition's success. The rumors about you not simply saving the Tech Priest Monastery, but actually eliminating the source of the mutiny are spreading like wildfire. The Vox transmissions from across the world are speaking of nothing else. Governor Medina is expecting you at his command center to discuss matters. We are ready to depart immediately. Just give the order. Oh, right. That's that vault. Hang on. Is there anything worthwhile in here? Plastic crystal cores. Any equipment? Gonna look through this real quick. Nope, there's nothing worthwhile. Anything new shot? I think this is new. Is this new? Nope, I guess that's it. Yeah, fair enough. Alright, let's get out of here. To the Void Ship Bridge. Totem, bridge technomat. Oh, dang. Here they are. Master Helmsman Revor. Lord Captain, Master Helmsman Revor at your service. You're a Voidborn, are you not? That I am. Born to Helmsman clan of Bowel, which chartered his vessel. Studied the family trade till I was 15, then my entire clan was butchered and removed by Lowerbook scum. They spared the youngins? Of course they did. Cables implanted connectors and made great navigational servitors. But I was having none of it. They weren't going to make a servitor out of me, so I escaped into the crawlways. And then I spent months picking them off, one after another. God, I'm talking about the story. Anyway, yes, I'm a voice. Well, finish your story before. Not much to tell. I gutted everyone I could get to, then I fled upward to the middle decks. That's where the operators took me under their wing. They have apprentice helmsmen of their own up there, you see. Nobody asked me any questions, so I stayed. I grew up, trained, got smart. Then ended up a junior helmsman. A dozen years later, Danrock spotted me and lured me away. Cheap bladder. Talk about the Voidborn. Yeah. Rhyme again, who are you? He's Master Helmsman. Master Helmsman both in the warp and in real space. Real space is just actually real space, material space. Who are these idiots you're in charge of? Two may list them all: tech priest, engineering, voidsmen, work-shy fools on a bridge. You must have dealings with navigators as part of your duties. Damn it, Lord Captain! To tell the truth, I've been asking myself, where'd that Lord Captain fish Sir Celiogrim out of? Now, it's not like I've met many navigators, but this one, I don't feel safe with that little princess pulling our void shut through the warp. She's done a decent job so far, though, so I guess she's managing. I can see you're not a gregarious sort. Have I done something to displease the Lord Captain? On the contrary, you're the first person on the bridge who's not tripping over themselves to lick my boots. Oh yeah? Oh yeah? Well, I'm pleasantly surprised myself. You aren't having to fly with insubordination. Will wonders never cease? Connecting wires. Once they go to the control panel, I'll become one of the ship. Except the bloody cogs messed up the wires that misinjected the connectors. Never implanted them. If they twisted the wire the wrong way or burned something in my noggin. Anyway, I can't sleep. It just don't happen anymore. It's been 30 years of non-stop stimulants and a splitting headache, so you'll forgive me if I'm not all smiles to look at. What can you tell me about the other officers? Go for nothing wasters, that's what they are. Each and every one. Take generous Dunrock, that highball and weasel. He fawned over the officers for some of the deals he makes would get him burned alive. He dragged other people into his scheme so they could take the fall for him too. One of my junior helmsmen, it's very good footfall for him, got caught by the seneschal and ended up in the void hatch. Danrock couldn't care less. Voxmaster, another Ptolemy like the last one, void rest him, is no better. She cut off half the Vox channel the day she took up her post. So the Vox systems were damaged and the engineer had no contact with other modules. But how am I supposed to seal the ship? Collect the cogs report with the power of my mind? First officer was Sarian? Can't stand him. Like every Navy officer I ever met, he doesn't know a thing about controlling a vessel of the void, but he puffs himself up all the same and throws his weight around. Me and him had to have words a few times before he left me alone. Thank the Emperor Lady Theodora trusted me more than a seneschal when it came to humming a void ship. Then there's that woman. What's her name? Class? Lady Theodora brought her along wherever she went, and look what happened to her. I wouldn't be surprised if it turns out that it was that I wouldn't be surprised if it turns out it was that witch that delivered her to another grave, just like the countless souls before. I don't see why anyone would want to talk that walking calamity on their ship, but some would disagree. They say she's friends with the young Ptolemy, or at least used to be. So tell me, do you like anyone at all? What kind of question is that? I like you, and Lady Theodora before you. Where would I be if I wasn't making cracks out of the road trader? Ha! I don't want to die yet. Lord Captain. I think that's everything. Right? Yeah, that's everything. Argenta, what have you got for us, Argenta?
Greetings.
Ah! Even in stillness, just Argenta radiates energy. With her dark eyes shining and a slight blush to her cheek, she is reciting a prayer. It looks like only once she has spoken the final line. Tell me about the Adeptus Sororitas.
Gladly. There are none more faithful to the God Emperor than my sisters. We fight against his enemies by the will of the Holy Ecclesiarchy. I beg your pardon, Rogue Trader. Here I am talking about what every lesser noble in the Imperium knows. So what exactly are you interested in hearing about?
They say the Adeptus Sororitas are the fiercest in their faith among the warriors of the Imperium. Is it true?
It is. The Sisters of Battle are a fire lit by the God Emperor. They are the echo of his voice that travels through the dark expanses of the universe. We bring his wrath to heretics, mutants, and other enemies of humanity. We protect the faithful from the unholy and unhallowed. Sometimes with words, more often than not with a bolter.
Are all sisters truly as faultless as you say?
Even the novices of the Adeptus Sororitas are drawn from among the most worthy. Those who have taken the vows and become a full-fledged sister are the best of the best, tested by trials of body and spirit. Yes, there have been cases when a sister stumbled or showed weakness. But do not expect to hear a story of depravity or downfall from me.
I mean, it took the story that jumps to mind is the literal intervention and capture of, and attention of Slanesh themselves to corrupt one sister of battle. And that was already a bad one, like not the greatest from how many serves. So, not many stories of depravity.
Each such occurrence is a great tragedy for us all. Light cannot bear the smallest speck of darkness within. And thus those who have trespassed or shown weakness of spirit are given a chance at redemption. They are called Sisters Repentia, and may the enemy tremble before her, for nothing can stop a sister of battle who yearns to be cleansed of fault and weakness. Wearing nothing but robes, no armor, eviscerator in hand, those sisters who have once faltered find repentance on the battlefield. Their lives are seldom long, but a death in the name of purgation is a better fate than to live with a shadow in one's soul.
What order are you from?
Once I had completed my novitiate, I was sent to the Calixian branch of the Order of Our Martyred Lady, assigned to the Orders Pronatus. The Order's mission is vital and noble. The Sisters Pronatus protect great relics of the Imperium. We guard them, preserve them, escort them when they are brought onto the battlefield or presented for pilgrims to venerate. And we seek out the relics that have been lost. Neither a coven of heretics nor the most wicked death world can deter Sisters Pronatus when their goal is to return a piece of the great legacy of the Imperium into the hands of the faithful.
The Order Pronatus is not one of the Order's militant, yet you're a trained fighter.
Don't let the name deceive you. The Order's militant trains sisters to march onto the battlefield as an army. That does not make sisters who belong to the non-militant orders timid and helpless. Both the solace-bringing Sisters Hospitaller and the enlightened Sisters Dialogus know how to greet enemies of humanity. Their dialogue with heretics is usually quite short, with the last word being a bolter discharge.
That's an exclamation mark? Okay.
And my order has all the more reason to be known for the martial prowess of its sisters. We are the keepers of the Imperium's relics. What would become of our blessed hero's legacy if the Sisters Pronatus could not protect it?
You said you belong to the Calixian branch of the Order. What brought you to the Coronis expanse?
The Order sent me to Footfall. My undertaking was to assist the local priesthood of Drusians in caring for a sacred reliquary that had been there since the time of Parsimus Duane, the station's founder.
Are there any other members of the Adeptus Sororitas in the Coronis expanse?
None that I'm aware of.
None?
But the Sisterhood's orders are many, and can operate independently of one another, sending their sisters wherever their presence is needed as deemed by the Ecclesiarchy. Perhaps somewhere in the Lord Inquisitor's retinue, may his path be blessed, my sisters perform their duty as we speak. I wish it were so. Even a single evening spent in joint prayer and training would bring me joy.
I have no more questions about the Sisterhood.
Should any more arise, keeping them to yourself would be imprudent. It is a virtue to take an interest in holiness.
Tell me about yourself.
About me? I am the Emperor's daughter and his servant. What else is there to tell about me?
I mean, there's going to be there should probably be a large retinue of people who want to romance Argenta. The passion, the white hair, the love for guns, barking up the wrong tree dudes. She doesn't even have a, yeah, dude and dudettes. How'd you end up on Theodore's ship?
I first came here when I found myself in need of passage from Footfall to a remote planet. But I imagine what interests you is not that first journey, but rather what brought me aboard prior to the pirate attack. That story is complicated. It just so happened that I made a mistake. In a moment of laxity, I was ambushed by the accursed followers of the archenemy. I was badly wounded. Lady Theodora came to my aid and brought me aboard her ship, while her crew attended to me in my weakened state. It all happened not too long ago. I'd barely recovered from my wounds when the pirates struck. Truly, the servants of evil know no rest. There is no place where we can be safe from their machinations.
I wish she spoke just a little bit faster, Argenta. Anyway, what happened to the people who wounded you? Did Theodora's men eliminate them?
Sadly, they did not. Lady Theodora was in a hurry and chose not to stay on the planet. Her people took me to a ship while I was unconscious, and when I came to my senses, we were already flying away. How I pray to come face to face with those heretics once more, and it's bound to happen someday.
You mentioned making a mistake.
It happens even to the best of us. My mistakes are my burden to bear. I'll find a way to atone for them.
Where did this happen?
On one of the recently discovered planets in the Expanse. No one suspected that it had already been tainted by the filth of heresy. Had I known it beforehand, of course I would have been on my guard.
You could go to that planet and deal with the Chaos Worshippers.
The path to that planet was lost. All the knowledge is gone, along with the previous navigator. It would take immense effort and resources to rediscover the route. The heir to the von Valanci's protectorate must have plenty of other issues to deal with right now. Perhaps later, when the skies above our heads have cleared.
What was it like traveling on Theodora's ship?
I hadn't been here that long. Just one journey from Footfall, and the other journey, the majority of which I spent in the confines of the Medbay. I can't tell you much about the first voyage. I was more focused on prayers and ruminations than on the people around me, or the journey itself. During the last journey, Seneschal Viserion stood out for me. He came by several times to ask about my health. He's an honorable man and a loyal servant of the Imperium. I think he is as meticulous in his inspections of the logistics systems as he is in his inquiries about the health of the occasional sister of battle aboard the ship. But not all of Theodora's people have earned my trust. You know who I'm talking about. There is no place for Adira Tlas among the God Emperor's faithful. I'm surprised she wasn't in league with the pirates. And I'm equally surprised by how deep heresy and treason run in this place. I'm glad we all made it through that dark hour. May the day that follows be bright.
I don't have any more questions, thank you.
As you wish.
Okay. What is it they're keeping in my retinue?
This ship was targeted by heretical pirates, which means that my presence here and the assistance I provide to you are my sacred duty. Sooner or later, I will likely have to return to Footfall to protect its reliquary. But for now, I wish to remain a part of the Rogue Trader's crew.
I mean, thank you, I suppose. It pleases me to have servant of the Golden Throne in my crew. May the enemies of the Imperium trample before our feet.
So they shall.
Thank you for the conversation. Until next time. The valet? Cassia?
Words cannot describe how boring the bridge is without our stimulating conversations.
Ah, she wants me bad, obviously. Tell me about yourself.
I am a part of House Orselio, an ancient dynasty of the Navis nobility. Since time immemorial, our family has served to advance knowledge, pushing at the boundaries of the dark unknown. The Starway Atlas contains 2,843 routes that chart the sectors of the Segmentum Obscurus and reach all the way from the Coronis Expanse to Holy Terra.
Sorry, Cassia, but I would like to know more about you personally, not your family.
You wish to know about me? I suppose I can help you with that. What would you like to know?
So you've never lived anywhere other than Urak 5?
Hardly. According to the chronicles of the house, I was born on one of the Orselio worlds. Oh, what was it? Please forgive me, Lord Captain. My childhood memories are too vague. Sometimes I dream about the colorful birds that built their nests in the garden, or the servants dressed in purple livery, or the blue fog that rolled over the lowlands behind the palace. But everything is covered in a rosy haze. Perhaps it is my imagination, not my memory, that is painting these pictures.
Tell me about your life on the station.
My stay on the station was wholly dedicated to preparing me for my future duty. Astromancy, astrography, numerology, the histories of my house and the Imperium, as well as other disciplines. For many years, dozens of instructors tirelessly prepared me for my destiny. And once a year, Great Regent Alronto would come to the station. He would entrust his beautiful vessel to my command, so that I could master the practical aspects of our art as well.
Did you have friends? Someone you could turn to for a simple conversation, not a discussion if you had another lecture?
The Regent gave me a bird from a sunlit planet once. I tried to befriend it and make it sing, but for some reason, it refused and died soon after. The instructors were too respectful of my duty to my house to waste precious time on idle chatter. Aside from them, there were only servants on the station. And you know they have their vocal cords removed, so they cannot break their vow of silence. And since the subject has been breached, Lord Captain, why do you not follow this honored tradition? Your decks are so garish. Apologies, I meant noisy. The rabble don't just chatter. Sometimes they shout and even sing. Why do you allow such a lack of restraint? Rogue traders are highborn, are they not?
A ruler cannot maim people just because it is in his power to do so. On the contrary, it is the duty of every ruler to look after his subjects.
Your words sound amazingly blasphemous. If a ruler's duty dictates the need for violence, would dispensing it not be their responsibility? I will contemplate your answer in solitude.
Is there another way? Do they enter?
The Regent gave me
okay.
a bird from a sunlit planet once. I tried to befriend it and make it sing. The Navigator's open eye is baneful to whoever the warp's ruinous shine falls upon, and therefore it is the symbol of our power. We are the guiding stars of humanity, found worthy of an uncommon gift, and one of the duties that we bear is to guard our eye, even from wayward glances that may bear evil. Besides, I am aware that lesser servants of the Imperium may find our appearance repulsive. The Navigator gene twists the features the rabble are used to seeing, and the magnificence of our role cannot be grasped by their feeble minds.
You're beautiful, Cassia. Do not let anyone or anything convince you otherwise.
Lord Captain, you are overstepping the bounds of propriety.
I like poking her. What does it feel like to guide a vessel through the warp?
It may be difficult to describe. You see, every navigator perceives the warp differently. My mentor, Great Regent Auronto, always described his travels through the Immaterium as a journey through a vast wood with countless paths. And I, assisting him in the first voyages, futilely tried to follow his example. But the wood would not reveal itself to me. But everything changed when I found my own key to this mystery. You see, I've always brightened up my rare moments of leisure time by painting. You may recall there was a workshop in my chambers. As soon as I imagined the warp as a blank canvas, an indescribable feeling came over me. I moved the brush, going deeper and deeper into my own painting. Visions were hidden within the vibrant colors of my palette, and something inside me knew which should be brought out and which should be left behind. I woke up several days later, after the voyage was safely complete.
Okay. I noticed that your love of painting is reflected in your speech as well. You associate so many images with hues and colors.
The Emperor graced me with a gift. I can see inner life in addition to the mundane. You cannot know that a fruit has rotten from the inside until a blade slices it in two. I can see the rot from far away. It roils like swamp mud, oozing through the bright peel. Anger and boredom, sadness and joy. Everything that people shut away inside themselves is revealed to me like colors on the canvas of my world.
Okay. Why don't we talk about something else?
You will hear no objection from me, Lord Captain.
Tell me about House Orcelia.
As the only voice of our family on this vessel, it is an honor. As long as your questions are courteous, I will answer every one of them.
Is the Orcelia prophecy system... Well, is the Orcelia prophecy system named after your ancestor?
You are shrewd indeed. My ancestor charted that route while fleeing the enemies of humanity. They say the Emperor himself was his guide, because the warp expelled their vessel without a single loss. Unfortunately, the lips of those who relate this tale seep with disgusting green hubris. I think Colleen Orcelio was simply a skilled navigator.
I mean, yeah. Who rules the house?
Just as a rogue trader stands at the head of a protectorate, a Novator heads a navigator house. It is the Novator who decides where to look for alliances and which path their bloodline is destined to tread. As for our house, the transfer of power to a successor is currently underway. In the meantime, Great Regent Auronto Orcelio is ensuring the stability of the house.
You lived in seclusion on a closed station until Fella committed his sabotage. So then you must be the Novator's successor.
So says Regent Auronto. Nothing is decided yet. Some people in the house become enshrouded in rolling grey clouds at the thought of me becoming the Novator. But even more are bound with dull leaden chains. They think I am not ready for such a burden.
I take it House Orcelio has a rich history?
Oh, yes. The navigators of the house came to the Coronis Expanse fairly recently, a mere 208 years ago. Before that, our ancestors expanded the borders of humankind's dominion for the glory of the Emperor, blazing trails to different corners of the galaxy.
With your permission, I'd like to talk about something else.
By all means.
What did your special sight reveal?
Sister Argenta shines like a guiding star, inspiring resolve in those around her, seemingly inexplicably. However, I see a dark and ugly fog billow behind her, contrasting sharply with her shining light. It burdens the Sister of Battle. It drags her down. Yet Argenta herself is hardly aware of it. Seneschal Viserion is among the few whose colors are a pleasure to look at. Whenever the Seneschal speaks, heavenly crystal clarity spreads around him. And whenever he is angered, Dark blue clouds condense over him, and in his rare moments of joy, a pure gleam of sunset pink caresses the souls of those near him. Out of your entire retinue, Lord Captain, he is the only one I would trust with my life.
I regret that I can't teach you and say, what about me?
The esteemed Magos Haneman is shattered, like a beautiful
That's how you
stained
say
glass
that name?
window into a mosaic of colors. His bright, beckoning hues are mixed together in complete disarray. I must confess it perplexes me. Normally, scarlet and steel are all that fills the heart of a servant of the Omnissiah.
So if you build... Makes him sound almost artificial in that context.
Behind the cobalt steel of his thoughts, behind the cold, faded gray of his emotions, an ember, the color of amber, glows in Master Van Kalox's soul. So bright and warm, one is tempted to touch it. It is sad that the interrogator seeks to drown it with his own hands in the bottomless blue of duty. Sad indeed, but I can relate. Idira's emotions are like a maelstrom, bright, unbridled, enveloping her form like a wondrous kaleidoscope of colors. And as dangerous as a twisting warp storm. The riot of colors hides the truth from my eyes. What exactly is driving this woman? Is it her own will, or is it the Immaterium, Lord Captain?
Let's talk about us, shall we?
Right here? Are you sure?
Yeah, let's discuss other things.
Of course. Let us turn from personal matters to more pressing concerns.
This is where I must make
I have enjoyed your company. Thank you for the conversation.
Alright, who else can I find in here? Rocks, I think just... Yeah, what are the Voxmaster's duties? We receive code messages, include Voxcasters. If you want to know what words are considered weapon, we accept the whispering about networks after the watches, clamoring about it, short with Vox transmission, just cut to satisfy curiosity. Have the Vox spirits put anything interesting lately? Abelard, do you have anything?
Lord Captain? A noble aspiration, Lord Captain. I am ready to acquaint you with all the particulars that interest you.
Outline the situation across the expanse of me. What do I need to know and keep in mind?
This is a topic for an official briefing, not a casual conversation. But I will try to answer succinctly. And if you permit, in my own words.
That's the point.
The Coronis Expanse is considerably removed from the heart of the Imperium. This means that local warp routes become useless within months. Established pathways are regularly subject to attacks from all kinds of rabble. And in the only major port, the Imperium's frigates find themselves moored alongside pirate vessels. Until recently, the Coronis Expanse could hardly have been called a region of the Imperium. The situation has changed with the arrival of the Lord Inquisitor, but not by much. This place operates under its own rules, you see. More radical, so to speak. But ones that allow for a non-standard approach where there is a promise of victory. The Coronis Expanse is considered rogue trader territory for a reason. Only rogue traders have sufficient military might, audacity, and the rights granted them by the warrant to survive the leap into the unexplored part of the Expanse, and in the event of a successful outcome, to hold on to whatever they manage to capture on the frontier.
Who are the main players that need to be aware of in the Coronis Expanse?
In the first instance, you should treat official representatives of the Imperium with respect. The Expanse may be on the fringes, but it still numbers among the territories of the Golden Throne. The arrival of the Lord Inquisitor has turned the Coronis Expanse into a less wild and uncontrolled region, to the regret of some individuals who had grown inured to the local lawlessness. Rogue traders such as yourself are also servants of the Imperium. They have been accorded special rights and powers. They wield immense authority within their territory. and they enjoy absolute respect in other parts of the Expanse. The most powerful of them are Kalagos Winterscale and Incendia Bastal Chorda. Tread carefully when dealing with either of them. If we are to speak of unclaimed territory, which is what Footfall is, among the scum that dwells on that handful of asteroids, there are 3 factions that wield considerable influence in the sector. The first is the Kazbala Commission, organized crime in its most primitive form. It holds sway over the Liege of Footfall, and has links to rogue trader Winterscale. The second faction is an offshoot of our shining ecclesiarchy, followers of St. Drusus. They are actively building their forces, and hold influence over rogue trader Chorda. And finally, the third faction, the Explorators, a wing of the Adeptus Mechanicus. They are willing to die and kill for the secrets of the ancient technological heresies that are hidden among the stars of the Coronis Expanse.
That's all for now.
As you wish, Lord Captain. A noble aspiration,
Oh,
Lord Captain.
that's it.
As you wish. As you wish.
Nope.
Of course.
No.
Lord Captain.
Alright. I could have asked those questions a little bit earlier, apparently, but it's fine. Adira, what have you got for us?
What are you talking about, Lord Captain?
You're a psyker. Psykers are only granted the right to live with the Emperor's blessing. Have you been to Terra?
Look, Lady Theodora couldn't care less if some eggheads measured my brains or not. It's not about the seal on your forehead, get it? It's about what's in your gut, if it's rotten or not. My gut's stronger than the adamantine on this here ship. And my implants are better than the ones they put in you on your Terra. If they weren't,
Your Terra?
I wouldn't have lived as long as I have.
You seem to have a very strong reaction to what Argenta said by the broken lens.
It was just my nerves playing up. Something about our little saint doesn't sit right with me, and I trust my gut. Oh sure, she seems straight as an arrow and as predictable as a hangover after drinking. But when I look at her, something about her makes my brain itch.
So clearly Argenta has a horrific past that is not just the mistake of getting ambushed and dropping on guard, and can possibly fall if we're going heretical wrong.
After that conversation, I tried to listen to what was being said about her. Beyond the door. What I heard was strange. Blood in her past, twilight in her present, and something like a star leading her. But where is it leading her? I saw several roads, and all of them frightened me.
Maybe we should warn Argenta.
Oh yeah, you go ahead and tell her the wicked Psyker has divined something about her. She'll be so pleased and grateful, and of course she'll listen to what you have to say. No, that would be pointless. And anyway, I'm not even sure what it all means. Maybe the danger is to her? Or maybe the danger's coming from her.
Awareness succeeded. Adira's voice is full of animosity, but you also detect concern, even a hint of pity and compassion. I'd like to hear your augury, Adira. What awaits me in the future?
All right, let's hear what they're whispering about you.
Adira laughs and rubs her hands together, and suddenly freezes with a vacant smile on her face. Her head slightly tilted. You feel goosebumps appear on your skin, and your collar begins to waver ever so slightly, as if moved by a breeze from a half-open door.
The glow of dawn bursts forth from its prison. Dungeon walls cannot contain the dark essence wallowing in the dust. A naive cub pushes his nose into a familiar hand, one that holds death in twisted glass. Cherish it or cast it off as a burden. The sword of change has already been raised. What is one more life to it?
Dungeon walls cannot contain darkness.
I'm sorry, Lord Captain. The voices are going wild. I can't make out a thing. I'll try to rein them in, somehow. But for now...
Where do you come from?
Lyra, an outlying world in the Heathen Stars region. In the Coronis Expanse, the deeper you go, the less visible the Astronomicon gets, and the less people know about the Imperium. The arrival of a rogue trader is the best thing that can happen to a world like that. The very best.
Tell me about Lyra.
It's an out-of-the-way planetoid between two faint stars. On Lyra, a dozen local tyrants fight over 5 measly continents. But they use everything they can to win, from poison to psychers. I haven't been there in many years, but there's nothing for me to miss. Trust me. But here on the ship is a different story altogether. I saw more wonders in my first year serving Lady von Valancius than I'd seen in my whole life on Lyra. Like my first journey through the warp, I was in bed for 3 days. I felt like supernovas were exploding in my head. I only found out later that I'd gotten off easy. Just through the bulkhead, in the bay next to mine, a whole team turned into... Look at me rambling on, Lord Captain. Pay no attention.
You never finished your story about the first time crossing the warp.
It wasn't like it was a very fun trip, Lord Captain. But look, if you want to be entertained, I'm the woman for the job. I'll entertain you with one of the stories from my collection, no problem. But if you want to hear about the time I melted everyone in the bay next door, well, I just don't really want to go into the details on that one, all right?
What did you do before you came to be on this ship?
Oh, I embroidered wall hangings in honor of our national heroes.
Do nations exist in this?
I did the same thing I do here, Lord Captain. Divining. Our rulers prized the ability to see into the future. Every psyker that could be found was worth a small fortune on Lyra.
So slavery?
There's no such thing as a peaceful life on Lyra. People like me were especially sought after. They'd pick psychers up wherever they found them, buy kids off their parents, even just abduct them. Take me, for instance. I got taken from my street gang. The older kids sold me when they noticed there was something off about me. The ruling dynasties had schools where they trained us and beat us black and blue. And then they packed us off to serve. Some of us held on for a long time, but others didn't last. Not everyone's as smart and talented as me, you know. Some people crossed the line and were out of commission before their time.
Yep, fair enough. How'd you end up on the road trader service?
Theodora von Valancius paid a visit to the ruler I was serving at the time. I don't know what the visit was for, and it's no business of mine anyway. I can still remember the way the voices in my head changed when I looked at her. They were practically screaming. She had so much behind her, and plenty ahead of her too. As I gawped at her, all of a sudden I heard a whisper. A hint, a suggestion, nothing more. But I know the difference between idle chatter and a real threat. I seized my chance and approached Theodora. I managed to whisper a couple of words in her ear before the wardens dragged me away. They beat me and locked me up. No wonder. It wasn't my place to converse with outsiders. And then Theodora's people came for me. They broke down the wall, butchered the guards. Also, I could tell them my warning in full. So I said the rest, but I didn't want to go back to my old life. And so I entered the service of the von Valancius dynasty.
Have you ever been off the ship?
A few times. Not many. And if I think about it, why would I want to? I've got everything I need here. All the whispers I hear are familiar ones. They almost feel like family. And if I want to hear about the nightmares off the ship, I can. After some Amisec. But don't go getting the wrong idea. If I have to, I'll follow you to the edge of the galaxy.
Let's talk about something else.
Of course, Lord Captain.
Got any story from Yadira?
You bet I do, Lord Captain. Okay, so we went to Footfall once. Well, I mean, Lord Captain Theodora went to Footfall a lot. But on that occasion, she took me with her for some reason. My day had gotten off to a bad start. My head had been yammering since I woke up, but there was nothing else for it. I had to go. We arrive at the place, and what a place! All the gentlemen and ladies dressed to kill, showing off their encrusted implants, all clustered around little tables. Well, turned out it was a gaming den. And not just any gaming den, but one run by somebody with deep pockets for people with just as much cash to splash. You should have seen it. People gambling away planets in a game of regicide. Anyway, so the Lord Captain wanted me to help her beat some guy. So I tell her, the chips won't land in your favor. You'll get a bad hand. Don't sit down at that table, your ladyship. But did she listen? Of course she didn't. If there's one thing she never lacked, it's stubbornness. So they sat down and the cards were dealt. I'm hovering around like I'm not involved, but I'm keeping my eye on things. And everything in my head keeps getting louder and louder. Anyway, it's a good thing I realized in time that my mind wasn't going haywire over a losing hand, but something else. I made some excuse to drag the Lord Captain up from the table and took her away from that place. And a few minutes later, the room where we'd been... It turned out some wise guy had the same bright idea to bring a pet psyker along with him. One of those ones who just scuttle around in Footfall's underbelly. And the psyker just freaked out, I guess. After all the commotion, people went to see what happened in the room. And they'd all gone for each other's throats. Literally. With teeth. And I think they completely detached that asteroid from Footfall and pushed it off into open space so it would head off toward the local star.
What's it like being a psyker?
Lord Captain, forgive me, but it would be like talking to a person born blind about colors. I could spend hours explaining, but it wouldn't make any sense to you. Every psyker feels their connection with the warp in their own way. One person might see spots and shadows out of the corner of their eye. Another feels fingers running down their spine. As for me, I've got a door in my head. One that's open just a crack. There's no way to close it, no matter how hard I try. I've just had to get used to the whispers from the other side. When I need to use it for work, I listen in more closely. But I usually just try not to notice it.
Can you see my future?
All right. That's what I'm here for, after all. So, I'm just going to lean on that door in my head a little more, prick up my ears, and listen to what the warp's got to say about you. If you'll allow it, I can listen right now.
Sure.
All right. Let's hear what they're whispering about you. I'm sorry, Lord Captain. The voices are going wild. I can't make out a thing. I'll try to rein them in, somehow. But for now...
Did you know Theodore von Valenti as well?
None of the officers knew the Lord Captain well. Not even Abelard, and she was always closer to him than anyone else. She told me from the off that if I ever listened to anything in the warp about her without her permission, I'd be going out through the airlock. I'm not an idiot, so I never stuck my nose where it didn't belong. Only when I was asked. It's hard to wrap my head around the fact that she's gone. Lady von Valancius gave me everything I have. She opened the stars to me and the paths between them. I still think I can hear her voice.
I think there's a strain between you and Argenta, isn't that right?
The little sister is afflicted with her own set of voices. Ones that whisper to her about corruption and heresy. The silly girl doesn't realize that if she wants to find the source, she needs to start by looking in her own head.
I must take my leave.
Of course.
I was gonna go through everybody. I've already got through like half of them at least. Abel. Kashi bridge screen, wires can assume computing machine to augmentics inside prayerfully bowed head of servitors. What are you working on? Catch the soul of the light and the soul of the wind. You look for the footsteps of the other side, left when you walk through the desert. This is the only romantic computation procedure. The depersonalized mind of these machine servants are in a data tube, processing enormous arrays of assorted data and aggregating them. Virtually all results are such synthesis as scrap data, but occasionally we have noticed coincidences with exactly defies logic. It is extremely rare and venerated form of statistical augury, but Tech Brother Rebel is adept at this form of appealing to the Deus Mechanicus. Logic 40? Why not? Just see if there's something, if we can make some other connections ourselves. Most of the rooms are devoid of any meaning, but you notice a few of them that combine into formulaic computational graphs. The bell peers at you inquisitively, then shifts his gaze to the vid screen, and you could swear that a smile lights up his face under his respiratory automatic. Crystal is exquisite in clear water. Deviation from the cycle's trajectory has been increased, as was Armanat's wish. Said Vox inside the broadcast have been hard rhythm. I guess it's supposed to be binary in a different form of descriptive. You do not recall having heard before. Its sound is full of vibrant energy, and its precise rhythm is nothing short of pleasing to the ear, a rare thing for the language of the Adeptus Mechanicus. Tech Brother Rebel is just lesser aria. Jeez. Accompanied by a high degree of acoustic harmony and fit for use of a motto, auxiliary identifier epitaph. I mean, I could use an epitaph. I will need an epitaph eventually. Why do you do it? How we execute the quest for knowledge in the hope that Machine God grants us an epiphany. Inspect the sacred machine. Okay. Did you hear what Bell said? It seems you have contributed to Armanat's design and deviated from cycle. What does that mean for you? You follow a path charted by a great mind, but that path leads to dark places. The cycle has the advantage of predictability. Abandoning it will plunge the collective into a perilous space of uncertainty, which will inevitably lead to disasters at the risk of universal annihilation. The doctrine of discontinuing the cycle may herald good things to come, or it may be a death sentence. Only the Omnicide knows all and comprehends all, rather than mere prophets who interpret his wisdom as far as their own comprehension permits. It is better to meet the challenge of change and perish inferior than to rot alive. How are you feeling, Abel? Okay. Pass the diagnostics, but no infestation to schismaticals, but his mind was fine. Tech Brother Rebel, are you free from possession? You are free from possession, are you not? I trust that you pose no threat to my ship. I'll make the judgment that will avert the threat. There's no need to frighten. What troubled him so? What judgment do you two speak of? Aw, that's sweet. Why are you so concerned about him? He's not the one you're looking to find. A kinship? You care for him as if he truly were your younger brother. Tech Brother Rebel is harmonious and harmonious with beauty. And harmony's beauty. It is so strange an urge to protect beauty from the horrors of grotesque. I'll try not to give him any more reason for dread. Why do you and Pascal have the same name? The naming of the names is not an index of the text. The naming of the names is the text. And says can be dramatic. His mind works differently from ours. You think that harmonic imagery and notices symmetries and proportional relationships in the world around him. Poetry would be closest analogy to how it perceives and interacts with reality. Do you know what he's referring to? Could I do that? Matching identifiers are the key to his vital point. They are in and of themselves a vital data point. At this stage of my analysis, I can relation to this. However, the fact that Tech Brother Rebel is trying to hint at something points to him being either better informed than I am or having conducted a more in-depth analysis of the situation. That is useful information. Rebel, could you please explain what you mean? Are we overthinking it? It doesn't matter why your names are the same. What matters is they're the same. Is that what you mean? They are connected. My hypothesis regarding the Bell's connection has been confirmed. Okay, Pascal, what do we got?
The Omnissiah knows all, comprehends all.
I want to know the truth of
The
that.
request is approved. I did conceal certain information. I was a student of Archmagus Amanat, but I committed an act of betrayal after he deviated from sacred dogma.
No. What did he do?
He fell into schism and challenged the sacred boundaries of knowledge. The blessed Amanat claimed the limits of what is permitted must be expanded, because by refusing to explore certain law, we find ourselves in contempt of the seventh universal law. Comprehension is the key to all things. My mentor put forth a thesis claiming that we have stagnated, that ritual is now nothing but a cage for souls and false worship of the Omnissiah. He sought to break the cycle of mindless repetition because he saw the inevitable demise of our faith and all humanity at the end of it.
I mean, he's fully correct. There has been millennia of stagnation.
This statement is false. My mentor's words sound like heresy. Limits were established because it is dangerous to venture beyond. Each step past them could lead to a bloody slaughter, but the blessed Amanat was not afraid.
How did you betray Amanat?
The teachings of the blessed Amanat spread, and word of it reached the conclave of the Cognizance fleet. They recognized his teachings as tech heresy. Many tech priests suddenly vanished or were subjected to servo penance for minor transgressions. The students of Amanat, whose number included many enlightened and respected brothers, resisted. My prognosis showed that our most likely future was a schism and a fratricidal war that would destroy the Cognizance fleet. That was when I headed to the Conclave. I confessed and handed the information about my mentor's research over to the Conclave. Brazen, anathematic studies of the Forbidden Law. The Conclave could use that data to summon Archmagus Amanat to stand trial and compel him to repent on pain of excommunicate Traitoris. His subsequent fate is unknown to me.
You acted at the loyal son of the Imperium ship.
I pray that the Omnissiah grants us wisdom to overcome the dialectic differences that divide us.
So why do you go to Rykad Minoris?
I was summoned there by a message that was encrypted with the blessed Amanat's personal code, and could it be interpreted in several ways. One thing was certain. We were in danger, and I had to go to Rykad Minoris.
The tech priest named Bell. Who is he?
Assessing his personality is difficult. The spirit of Brother Abel is different from that of most people. Tech comrades of the Cog call such persons quiet ones. He possesses significant intellect, but shuns communication.
He's autistic.
So far, I have not been able to determine why Abel summoned me to Rykad Minoris, how he is related to the Blessed Ammonites, or why he bears the same name as me. Perhaps Reverend Abel may not be fully able to actualize and interpret the available data.
What are you going to do next?
I was wrong when I assumed it was the Blessed Archmagos Ammonat who assumed the guise of Abel Haneman. But there is a connection between him and the Reverend Abel, and I intend to uncover the nature of this link.
I have no more questions.
Acknowledged. I will return to ruminating on the search for the Blessed Ammonat. The request is approved. I have no outright restrictions on disclosing this information.
Where are you from?
Information about my origins is worthless. I belong to the priesthood of explorators and came to the Coronis Expanse over 200 years ago. Any events preceding that moment are insignificant.
How did you end up in the Cronus Expanse?
I was honored to become a member of the Explorator Cognizance Fleet. When the Adeptus Mechanicus summoned the faithful for an exploratory venture into the depths of the Coronis Expanse, I joined the fleet in fulfillment of my sacred vows of comprehension.
Why are you not with the fleet then?
After I betrayed Archmagus Ammonat, the fleet conclave directed me to the orbital station, Alto Templum Calixus EXT-17, for penance. This venerable temple station was founded in the early years of our expansion into the Coronis Expanse. It is currently a rear observation post of the Cognizance Fleet in orbit around the star Furibundus.
Who are the explorators?
The sacred fraternity of explorers. The cult Mechanica sends us out to the frontiers of the known sectors as researchers and conquerors. We are the warriors of the Code, who return to the lost worlds and devote themselves to recovering the lost ancient knowledge. Explorators are granted the privilege of being more independent than many of our tech comrades. However, it has earned us a reputation as unstable and poorly controlled troublemakers whose unorthodox views are dangerously close to apostasy.
Tell me about your Mechadendroids.
They are my younger brothers and guides on the way to the Omnissiah. Their machine spirits are directly bound to my neocortex and pick up impulses from my subconscious. Sometimes they act ahead of my thoughts. This is how the Omnissiah leads me to comprehension.
We can stop there.
Acknowledged. I am honored to belong to the priesthood of Mars, guided by its tenets. We safeguard technology against the impure and the unenlightened.
Okay, good to know.
Acknowledged. May your labors be effective and fruitful.
If you want to know more about the Mechanicus, please just look it up. Sorry, it's just... I am torn in between desire and a borderline anxiety to keep going and finish this, and also just to deal with hundreds. So we're going to go on a trip to our lovely little bunker where the governor sucks. He's not particularly good at anything, right? Then we go to the bunker. And finish up Rykad Minoris. Apparently it's going to be a very long episode, but we will deal with it. Sure, Minoris. Anything? No. I have the rep necessary, but I am short the profit factor. Master Von Calix, please move with good health. Help them accomplish what you intended to do with the electrodynamic synovium. I can't express how grateful I am for your help. Now that the insidious heretic's design has been thwarted, nothing stands in the way of my plans or yours. With Aurora dead, the spirit of revolt is waning. The entire squad of rebels are surrendering. We are witnessing the final date of the uprising. I have already signed the order to allocate 2,000 first-class voidfarers to you. The transfer to your ship should begin any minute now. 6 experience and 5 profit factor. Okay. I'd also like to salute the savior of Rykad Minoris. I've already a festive celebration to be held in your honor. We will celebrate your victory with ancient custom, the triumph. We will drive through the city streets accompanied by a guard of honor as befits a hero who vanquishes Imperium's enemies, while your trophies will be displayed to the jubilant crowd. Let me know once you've concluded your business in the system and are ready for the triumph to begin. I shall take my leave. Nope. I have 5 more profits, so stay away. Bracers. Where are you anyway? Okay. Run and gun the bracer. Modified las gun. 2-handed. Whatever. And then we've got Thermite Stormtrooper. And with more profit factor.
Keep your wits about you.
Gonna hit up the pirates. Because I guess why would we not? Radius with a shot. The aim will resolve. Except for Toby Pattern Greatsword. Medal of Alacrity. That's fine. I've got a Rykad Minoris. Scan required. Ooh, there's something here. Unidentified void ship. Ah. Augurs noticed a large object among the lifeless rocks covering the planet. A void ship whose signature and origin is impossible to identify from orbit. It's resting on the edge of a deep ravine. The hull of the unidentified vessel is severely damaged. Rocks around it shattered by the force of the gigantic machine's crash landing. The Augurs haven't detected any vital signs aboard or near the vessel. Yeah. We're going to explore this. The landing party reports via Vox as soon as they touch down. The colossal void ship before them is covered with spikes. It resembles a morbid beast sculpted from the darkness itself, menacingly hanging over the ravine. An experienced veteran accurately determines the origin of the unholy vessel. It belongs to the Xenos race called the Drukhari. Ready to collapse at any moment, the void ship emits a long, woeful creak, as if promising to drag along into the abyss below anyone who dares to disturb its flubber. Avalars are just finding out what Xenos are doing in the Rykad system. Taking heed of Seneschal's recommendations, the rotator orders them to send more people to the planet. Anxious Adira tell the Lord Captain that voices in her head are screaming, repeating words harbinger of darkness and death. Not wanting to tempt destiny, the rotator decides to recall people from Vestrum. Argenta eagerly says that the only good Xenos are the dead one. A true servant to them shouldn't soil their hand with Xenos technology. The rogue trader orders more people to the planet to collect any more valuable findings. Being the Empress chosen, the rogue trader won't go digging around the Xenos trash. The artifacts of the enemies of humanity should be wiped out for the consequence. Yeah. Monstrous contraptions designed to mince, rip apart, and incinerate their victims took the soldiers by surprise, but were neutralized before the squad suffered significant losses. The soldiers found several curious pieces of xenotech on the Sinister Void ship, but no data that could shed some light on why it came to the Rykad system. Assortment of Drukhari barbed needles, Drukhari shatter shard, venom blade, blast pistol, monofilament grenade. I mean, 15 to 25? Las weapon. Jesus, and a venom blade, 12 to 18. Is there anything there? Not really. I'm gonna very quickly just look through this and see what is usable. 1 second, guys. All right, I did some logistics, some house cleaning. We're going to talk to Heinrichs, see what they have to say about everything, really, and then we're going to go back to the bunker to get ready for the celebration that will end. From everything that I can tell, it's going to end the chapter. It says, hey, are you done with the system? So I'm presuming that's the end of our time here. I know nothing about you, Heinrichs. Could you tell me a little about yourself?
I'm usually the one interested in the pasts of those around me, not the reverse. I come from a night world, Guizorn 3. I belong to a branch of one of the noble houses until my exceptional abilities were discovered. After that, I was sent on a black ship to Holy Terra, where I was trained, and I began my service for the glory of the Imperium.
Do you remember your home planet?
I do, but I have no ties to my homeworld now. None except my first name. I left Guizorn 3 when I was still a child. My family disowned me, stripping me of my family name. I was given a new one by those who trained me. Even for a noble, being branded a psyker is a mark of eternal shame. I experienced that firsthand before I was put on the black ship.
How did you discover your abilities?
Like many psykers unaware of their curse, I found out when a strong emotional reaction triggered an involuntary response. My great aunt had a pet grink. One day, it bit me, and I boiled it from inside out. And when my great aunt slapped me for what I'd done, I boiled her too.
Oof. All of these seem like dick things to say. I hope you've mastered your ability since then.
When I arrived on Holy Terra and was tested, I was found to be suitable material for becoming a sanctioned psyker, able to bend his curse to his own will. I can assure you that the adepts of the Astra Telepathica were right in their assessment.
Tell me about the black ship.
Picture a vast prison ship, filled with frightened, angry psykers who can't control their abilities and who have just lost their homes and their families. Some of them were children and adolescents like I was. Some were monstrous creatures who no longer had the right to be called human, or psychopaths who reveled in their impure powers.
Continue.
Once, when one of the miscreants broke free, those in command simply depressurized the bay and got rid of the culprit, along with the prisoners and crew tainted by him. But even after that, I heard the echo of inhuman suffering and terror that filled that part of the ship. It grieves me to recall that episode to this day.
You were sent to the Inquisition straight after training?
No. First, I was accorded the status of a psyker fit for service in the Imperial Guard, where I then spent several years. It was only afterward that I became an agent of the Golden Throne.
Let's talk about something else. How long have you served in the Inquisition?
Since the day of my initiation as an acolyte. So, decades. How many real years it's been, it's hard to say. When I returned from a journey through the warp, I often discover that much more or much less time has passed in real space.
You visited many worlds during your service, I'll wager?
Indeed. I have visited many of the places brought to the Emperor's light, and those sullied by the filth of the archenemy. In truth, even after all these years spent visiting the various corners of the Imperium and looking beyond its borders, I still consider the Segmentum Solar to be the greatest of all humanity's bastions. Nothing compares to the majesty of Holy Terror, the might of Mars, the grandeur of the Segment's other worlds.
What duties have you been carrying out for the Inquisitor?
You can't really be expecting me to answer that question, can you?
I mean, why not? But for someone who's been in service for decades, you certainly look young.
The first step for biomancers such as myself is to take control of the processes of their own body, including aging. I've endured innumerable hazards in my work. If I allowed every trace of them to remain, I would look completely different today. Gladly.
You're not the Inquisitor's only acolyte, correct?
Of course not. The Lord Inquisitor's entourage comprises dozens of people. The best of the best. Experts in various fields and disciplines. Some of them I know personally. Others I have never met. To be honest, I'm not even certain that the people I know are still alive. I used to work with other acolytes of the Lord Inquisitor, but in the Coronis Expanse, I've been working alone.
If you're an interrogator, does that mean you hold a special position in the retinue?
We are not a retinue. We are acolytes. As for your question, I am closer than anyone else to the one I call my personal teacher. The Lord Inquisitor deemed me worthy of undertaking the most important and sensitive tasks requiring the attention of agents of the Golden Throne.
Wandering among the stars without family or friends, don't you get lonely?
I rarely have the time or the opportunity to think about it.
Are there other acolytes in the Coronis Expanse? Sure. Let's talk about something else.
Such as?
What can you do with a psycho?
The Lord Inquisitor was most insistent that I master the discipline of Santic Demonology. I use my faith and my power to crush the enemies of the Imperium. Servants of Chaos tremble at the sound of the Emperor's name, uttered by my lips. I am also a skilled biomancer. I can manipulate bodily processes. Sometimes I resort to those skills in the course of my work, when it is necessary to make the subject of an interrogation more cooperative.
I love how this is the final thing we discuss, just because it then means, yeah, no, I don't want to be here anymore. I'm gonna go away now. Bye. Alright. Time to head back to the governor's bunker and accept our pervading, which we will do next time. Since this has already been a very long episode, it's going to take a while to render and upload, so it's going to be fun. But that being said,
Rise to the top, or get left in the dust.
that's what we're trying to do. That being said, I hope you guys all have a good day. Hope this have made your day at least a little bit better. Hope you get through work. I know I always put something on, or I always want to put something on in the background. Hope you're doing well, and be well, everyone.